There's very, very, very seldom a slow day with Colorado football, right? And another day where we got a lot to talk about. Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports is reporting that Colorado is going to start Kaidon Salter this week against Wyoming. I'm going to break down what I think about it. And this has to be our Taco Bell Live Moss moment of the week, update of the day, right? So thank you to Taco Bell, Colorado area Taco Bells for supporting the channel, for supporting Colorado NIL. Go pick up a Buffs box. You get 5 great items in a collector's cup for only $7. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I definitely want to know what you guys have to think about this. But this is very, very interesting. I just got done last night filming an episode. Maybe I'll drop it tomorrow with Jay from Primetime College Football, and we were talking about this starting situation. I talked about it with Rawhide yesterday. Is that, yeah, I don't really care who starts this week. Can we just play one quarterback? That's really what's most important to me right now. And again, this isn't an ideal situation for our program to be in. Sometimes it feels like this staff just totally makes things absolutely harder for themselves. And with how this quarterback situation has been juggled, it has made things difficult. Now, what I'm hoping is that we can finally just settle into a guy for a while. I'm praying to God Pat Shurmur can actually call an offense for Kaidon Salter's strengths to be highlighted. Because what we have seen against Georgia Tech, what we saw against Delaware, although I think he played decently in those games. I think he played good in those games. Not elite, not Shador level, not Heisman worthy, anything like that. But I think he played like a good college football quarterback. But I think we can get great play from Kaidon Salter if we were to call an offense geared towards his strengths. The problem is, guys, is that I have absolutely no faith in Pat Shurmur to actually do that. No, not at all. But you might be wondering, okay, what led to this change? And again, we've talked about this ad nauseum. I think Ryan Staub went out there and won that job against Delaware. As much as I disagree with playing all 3 quarterbacks in that game, go back to my post game of that. It was a mess, but Ryan Staub much better than the rest. The issue is that as we saw this game against Houston kind of get out of reach a little bit, he also became turnover prone. And when you're looking at Ryan Staub, man, like, what are you bringing to the table? I guess if you're going to have 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions and 55% completion, aren't we better off? I mean, if we're expecting Kaidon Salter to be completing between 55 and 65% of his passes, are we missing? Are we robbing ourselves of any upside continuing to stick with Staub? Man, Staub, it was a tough game. It was a tough game. But I didn't think we needed to announce him as starter for the rest of the year. Obviously, with how he played against Houston was going to dictate a lot, and it was not good. Now, I thought that we'd be going back to Ryan Staub this week just because, again, I just don't know what to expect from this coaching staff. I'll go with the last guy that they played. But Kaidon Salter, I'm happy for him personally to see him get another opportunity. And I'm hoping that this is a better one than what we saw earlier in the year. We will see him play with confidence, swagger, and hopefully with him knowing going into this game that he's going to be the guy again. I am praying that we only play 1 quarterback. Give Salter, or whoever is starting, in this case it is going to be Kaidon Salter, give him the luxury of playing a full game. Okay? This staff wanted to treat Delaware like a preseason game. He led 2 scoring drives. He played fine. He played absolutely fine. Now, Coach Prime has said he's wanted to see leadership. I hope that we have seen more of that from Kaidon Salter. I think that that's something that we haven't exactly seen from him. But on the other side of things, he hasn't exactly been given the confidence from the coaching staff to where then you can go out and be that leader, right? So we see, though, one positive from Kaidon Salter is that he has not turned the ball over. And this has been a huge concern coming into the season is Kaidon Salter gonna hold on um, to the ball? Or is he gonna hold on to the ball, not fumble it? Is he gonna not throw interceptions? Well, right now we have seen no interceptions, which is fantastic. I think he might have a fumble. For some reason, it's not even showing that, but doesn't matter. Anyways, right here, 68.2% completion percentage. We saw him have a good game against Delaware, 13 of 16. He was hitting the middle of the field, kind of that short game over the middle of the field a little bit more, which is nice to see. 102 yards on that. He only has 261 passing yards on the season right now. This is the thing that really needs to change with Kaidon Salter being the starting quarterback, and why it is the reason I've mainly been calling for Pat Shurmur to go. We need more out of Kaidon Salter on the ground. This needs to be something that absolutely has to change this week against Wyoming. And guys, right now, we have a defense that is outside the top 100 in FBS football. We have an offense that is outside the top 100 in FBS football. Wyoming has the 52nd ranked defense in all of FBS football right now when you're just looking at total defense, yardage, all of that. This is not, in my opinion, going to be a walk in the park. If we come out just trying to make Kaidon Salter play in this Shador type offense, yeah, we're not going to hit our peak with this team. To win this game and to cover the spread, we need to be able to emphasize the run, not only with our running backs, but with our quarterback, Kaidon Salter. Which leads me to the flagship sponsor of David Talks Buffs, David Talks Broncos. It is ProfitX, which is your number one peer-to-peer sports prediction market. Guys, it's peer-to-peer, you versus me, instead of the sports book versus the house. So it means you get the best price pretty much always on any spread, money line, total, player prop, all of that. So use my promo code Dave and claim up to $200 in profit cash on all plays for the first 30 days playing on the site. Terms and conditions apply, and I'll show you what we got going on right now. Now, I do have a little bit on the over because I don't trust this defense at all until I see it. I got over on 46. I got plus 100 odds on that. That's great. You can also request your own odds. If I didn't already say that, that's very, very cool. Well, look at what we got going on right now. If you want to still go with like plus 45, you can still get plus 100 odds on that with this play on ProfitX. And then with the spread, 12.5. Minus 12.5 is minus 116 for Colorado. If you want to say, you know what, Dave, we are going to handle business. We're going to cover the spread that most Vegas sportsbooks have. Well, you can get minus 104 odds for that, which is better than anything that I've seen. But man, if you want to go crazy and say, you know what, we'll cover the original spread, 14.5, you can get plus 122 odds, man. So shout out to ProfitX. It's always a lot of fun. About even on the year. But I'll get to some of your comments here shortly. But to summarize this up, man, I'm happy for Kaidon Salter. Personally, I'm very happy that he's going to get another opportunity to do this because, again, I think the staff has absolutely fumbled the start to this season with this offense. It hasn't been fair to any of these guys, but Kaidon Salter maybe the most. He's been running with the ones throughout pretty much the entire offseason. It's been inexcusable that we have not seen an offense called similarly to what he ran at Liberty. What the hell are we doing? So to me, the biggest factor, the X factor, actually isn't who we have at quarterback. It is who we have calling the plays. Are we actually going to see an instance in which Pat Shurmur and Coach Prime can show that they actually won't be stubborn and make this a pass-first team when you don't have right now an NFL draft pick on this roster at the quarterback position. I hope Kaidon Salter can get there, but right now he's not looking like it. We are a team right now that is outside the top 100 in offensive output in FBS football, being a pass heavy team. This needs to change. Get the ball to Simeon Price. Get the ball to Kalen Taylor, Micah Welsh. Run speed option, triple option, RPOs, zone reads with Kaidon Salter. With a bad defense, you help them out by keeping them off the field. This is simple stuff. And this staff has shown us time and time again, they don't care about doing the simple things. But I'm praying today, guys. I'm praying today going into this game against Wyoming that we actually do this. Maybe this was the wake-up call we finally needed for this staff to stop making, what's the expression? Square pegs fit in a round hole. You cannot run the same offense you did last year. You cannot expect or hold Kaidon Salter to the same bar that you held Shurmur Sanders to. You can't do the same thing Ryan Staub or right now Julian Lewis whenever we see him play. But guys, we're not playing Julian Lewis right now. We are not playing Julian Lewis right now. I don't want to see that happen just yet. Because you might say, Dave, this is a wasted opportunity. No. You can call this scared. I call this being smart. BYU has the number 1 defense in all of college football right now. I am not sending out a 17-year-old freshman, I don't care how good he is, against BYU, dude. You might say, well, you can play him against Wyoming only if it's a blowout. Not doing this 3-2 quarterback, you get a series, you get a series, you get a series thing. No, let's run this like a real program, please. And I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm a little more negative than I normally am. But sometimes, man, you gotta call it as you see it. I hate how this whole thing has been managed. I hate how we haven't seen this staff scheme towards the strengths of their players. I fear that they just think Kaidon Salter is going to be another quick fix for this offense without them having to actually scheme to the talent and the strengths of their players that they have. That's what I'm worried about. But I'm very excited to go see Kaidon Salter play on ESPN. And I think it's going to be a great game against the Wyoming Cowboys. This is not one we should be overlooking. I think Kaidon Salter, again, maybe the floor with this offense is going to look better if he is more decisive with his running. But guys, again, I don't care if it's Kaidon Salter, Ryan Staub, or Julian Lewis right now. We cannot expect to see Shurmur Sanders level quarterback play this year for many of these guys. I hope the staff finally realizes that now too. So I'll get to some of your comments. Again, really appreciate you guys as always. We have 185 people in here, so please come over into the chat. I'll get to it. Well, actually, we'll keep this open, man. I think this is kind of cool. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Please like and subscribe always. We're leading or we're working our way rather to world domination. We'll go to the top here. Jen J, what's going on? Lamar says not good. What is this staff doing, Dave? I know. I would hope that we roll with Salter for the rest of the season. I think it's most ideal if you can stick with one quarterback. Now, if the results aren't there, then hey, maybe you make a change towards the end of the year. But right now, I'd prefer not to waste and burn Julian Lewis's red shirt. I just don't want to do it. Absolutely, D-Nice. Love talking Buffs. Cam Duncan, people who don't get this move are truly dumb. Well, hey, explain it a little bit more, man, because, again, I don't really know if replacing the quarterback will change too much if we don't see actual change happen with this offense and how the coaching staff is calling it. I pray to God that we see this Liberty Flames style offense, man, because again, why did I get on and call for Pat Shurmur to be fired after that first game is because we didn't see any of that. We didn't see any play action. We didn't like any traditional play action. We did nothing to help Kaidon Salter get in a rhythm. And I think that's kind of been a theme almost to Pat Shurmur. Why do his offenses just always seem so slow starting, even with Shador, even going back to his time in the NFL? Maybe it's on Pat Shurmur. Man. And here's the thing, KB. Why? If they do, we need to be an option team because he struggles too much with his accuracy as a pocket passer. That's what I'm saying. Why the hell did you even bring him in here when you knew what his strengths and weaknesses were? So why did we see that offense against Georgia Tech? It was basically like putting him in the Shador offense. My fear is that they're just going to say, Caden, go out there, do it again. That's the definition of insanity. Why do you bring Marshall Faulk in if you're not going to give his guys the ball? Guys, you might say, well, then these wide receivers might want to go if they're not being fed. These wide receivers, everybody's on the team is going to want to go if this team doesn't win. Play winning style football. The identity of this team can be found through the run game. I know that's not Coach Prime's MO. But if you want to keep guys and you want to win games, you got to run the ball. You have to emphasize it. You got to get creative in the run game. Kaidon Salter allows you to do that. We saw some of this stuff throughout fall practice, man. Spring ball, triple option, zone read, stuff like that, man. We just haven't seen any of this stuff. Let's see here. What else we got? Why in the hell would you go back to Staub? Again, my thing with Staub was that, hey, seems like Pat Shurmur actually feels comfortable calling an offense for a guy that he trusts. Well, we saw that didn't work out against Houston, man. Saw that did not led to 2 turnovers, man. It was not good. Caden better run the hell out of the ball. That's what we need him to do. These college offenses, they don't need to be the most efficient in passing, man. I mean, just look at Texas A&M going and beating Notre Dame this past week. I mean, what wasn't their quarterback like a 55% passer or something like that on the day? But he had huge plays. That's what I'm talking about. You sound very disappointed, Dave, which is understandable, but you have to continue to believe we'll turn this around. Man, I sure hope so. Everything will feel better after a win, right? But this is part of riding the emotional wave. I'm not pleased with how we played against Houston at all. And again, I did not like Coach Prime's answer to that identity question he got the other day or yesterday. He just right now the staff just seems stubborn, and people are going to blame the players. I feel like that's how it normally is, but I feel like we haven't gotten good coaching on either side of the ball right now. But with Kaidon Salter, you guys got to realize this. I mean, there are going to be times where he just misses open receivers. Like that's going to happen. We need him to be really, really good on the ground. That's something that he brings that no other quarterback on the roster does. He brings an ability that we haven't had on this team really since Steven Montez was here years ago when I was at school at CU. I would love this, Jamal. I would believe in Brett Bartoloni over Pat to call the plays at this point. I would too. He's been around for years with Coach Prime. Called Shador's last year at Jackson State in 2022. Obviously had huge offensive output there, and then he's been able to still be around and learn. I'm sure that there are still some positives you can pick up from working under Pat Shurmur, right? But I'm sure he's got his own ideas. I would imagine he's younger, he's a little bit more creative, more innovative. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing that change. right now, it seems like Byron Leftwich is kind of in a part-time role, not necessarily with the team right now, like physically. Maybe it's more of like an analyst role. So I don't think he's a realistic option right now for play calling duties. Now, our special teams coach, I'm forgetting the name. He was Shador's play caller, an OC at JSU in 2021, I believe. So he's the other guy, but things got to be pretty whack for you to start bringing in your special teams coordinator, start calling your plays on offense, man. Like, that's whack. I think Brett Bartolone would obviously be my choice. Where's the confirmation from CBS Sports Statesman from Matt Tennant's? Right here. We'll show it right here. Keep this up. I'll go here for a little bit, guys. Did you see Steve Smith talking about Travis Hunter's weakness and Pat Shurmur not being a good offensive coordinator? No, but doesn't surprise me at all, man. Again, I think Pat is totally predictable right now, and you can get away with that when you got some high-end talent like Shador and Travis on offense, right? I mean, I thought our offense was fantastic last year. Still left some to be desired, right? Still couldn't run the ball. But all things considered, Shador and Travis will cover up a multitude of sins for any football team, including a stale play caller. And honestly, that's why I didn't mind Pat Shurmur last year, because we had that top end talent. We were going to be just fine. We just needed somebody that had baseline competency. But when you don't have that top line talent, you need somebody better than just giving generic plays out there. And Lamar, I mean, is this not one of the themes right now we've seen throughout this whole tenure, is that Colorado under this staff never has easy games. They don't know what they're doing. It's hard for me to look back even at some bad years, some terrible years with CU, and look at another staff that continues to make things as difficult for themselves the way that this staff has. Because again, I believe they want to play a certain brand of football that isn't always suited to the talent that they have. I'm going to hope that this is going to change against Wyoming, because right now, again, if we're going to go out there and play the same brand of football, that means we're playing a brand of football that's an offense ranked outside the top 100 in the FBS, and a defense that's getting absolutely thrashed right now that has no toughness outside the top 100. And then we're talking about this team might not even be bowl eligible, which would be a failure. It would be an absolute failure. Now, I don't think we're going to get there. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we can still get to 6 wins, but it's going to cost the staff to be a little bit more flexible, man. You have to start scheming towards the strengths of your players. Clock in. Dave Salter's afraid to run with 30 yards open field in front of him. Yeah, this is where your coaching comes in. I agree. I mean, we've seen it. But you're talking about establishing an identity. Just got to say, man, we just got to run the ball. We got to run the ball. I'm praying to God, man. Anonymous businessman. This will be Salter's breakout game. Let's go. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, this is a great point, D-Rob. Coach Shurmur needs to watch the South Carolina versus Vandy game and see how South Carolina used their quarterback. Perfect blend of run and pass plays. Yeah. And again, you can win in college football with a 60% completion percentage guy. That can happen. But the only way you're doing that is if you're running the ball well. Well, we don't have an NFL offensive line either. We run the ball pretty good. The team needs to make plays they're supposed to make, and we would be fine. I got to say, too, I know that the run blocking grades still have not been great. The pass blocking's been phenomenal, which is, awesome to see. But, again, I think the more we emphasize the run, the more creative we could get with the run. And having a guy like that like Kaidon Salter in the backfield helps with all those things. I think you'll see the running output be better. This season is over, built for the future. I agree. I do not agree with this, AV. Respectfully, man, the season's not over yet. We got 3 games through the season right now. We have conference games left. There's still plenty to play for. You got 38 seniors, 37 seniors, something like that on this team. Yeah, we're going to be playing right now. And again, I'm all for playing the young guys maybe later in the year, depending on how things go. But I'm not throwing 17-year-old Julian Lewis out here to start against what is going to be a gauntlet. The number 1 ranked defense in all of FBS football, BYU. Then you got TCU on the road, Iowa State, and then Utah, man. Oh, my God, dude. All those teams look fantastic right now. Colorado is in Liberty. If Salter can't adapt to Power 4, they shouldn't have recruited him in the first place. I think this has less to do with Salter and more on what Coach Prime and Pat Shurmur want to call. And I think that, again, they recruited him. They knew what they were getting. You're getting a guy that's a 55 to 60% completion percentage guy that can make big plays with his legs and with his arms. Not the most efficient guy, but a big-time playmaker and can run. The staff has not emphasized his strengths whatsoever. Dave, you're not being negative. You're being real. It's hard to explain truths to these fans. Oh, man. Man, that's how it feels sometimes, man. Like, again, I've watched a hell of a lot of football throughout my life, and there are things every year with this staff that I've just never seen. And don't get me wrong, man. Again, don't confuse criticism for me calling for Coach Prime to be fired here. No, man. No, man. I want to see him figure this out. I definitely want to see him get there. I think there's still so much potential with Coach Prime here. He's still new to all this stuff, kind of all things considered. But we need to see him start to make some adjustments, man. That maybe certain strategies, certain ways that you want to play don't always work. And so the good coaches adjust after that. Absolutely not. I'm not throwing him out there against BYU. That's absolutely insane. This guy is an Haynes King creating an offense around him, just running won't work. Well, tell me what we're going to do then, Dante. I mean, I'm trying to have an open mind of how you can get the most out of him. And I think, again, I'm not saying that you only pass it 15 times a game, something like that, but speed option, triple option, zone read. These are things that most college offenses have. Well, maybe not necessarily like the option stuff, but understand what I'm saying? Like, they got creative in the run game. We look stale. Yeah. Shador's offense sucks balls. Special teams has been the one bright spot on this, on this team. Shout out to Damon Greaves, man. He's better than Staub. Right now, statistically, you're absolutely right. David, Salter is the strongest arm on the team. Those missed throws or miscommunication with the receivers. Please go look at his Liberty tape from it. Oh, trust me. I've seen a ton of it. I've watched a ton of his time at Liberty. That's why I'm so pissed off that we're not doing more stuff with the Liberty offense here at CU. Yeah, trust me. He's not always the most accurate passer, but he's a guy that needs to get in a rhythm like most quarterbacks do. Not like Shador or whatever. That's just go out there and you're hot from the start. No, Pat Shurmur needs to scheme. He actually needs to help his quarterback get in a rhythm. Some of those missed throws are on Salter just straight up missing. Some of them are on the wide receivers having miscommunication. when you're juggling the quarterback position the way that you have for the first 3 games, it's not going to help solve that yet. There are going to be bumps with this offense right now, no matter who is playing against Wyoming. But I just pray we can just stick with one guy for a while, Dan, can't we? Can iron out some of that stuff. Yeah, what happened to smart, tough, fast, disciplined with character? Well said. No, and I totally disagree with this. You have to see what your 5-star quarterback has to bring to the table. I don't think this early, man. And again, I think once you go with Julian Lewis, you're not looking back. You're not going to do the Dante Moore thing of starting him, then benching him, then starting him, then benching him. To where then to go resurrect his career, he's got to go out to Oregon. We'd be in shambles if that happened with Julian Lewis. We're talking about how we do not trust Pat Shurmur. So you want to combine Pat Shurmur right now with a 17-year-old quarterback going up against the top defense in FBS football here in a week? Hell no. I'm fine starting him. If things go to shit, hey, let him play the last few games of the season. He can play the bowl game if we get there. But right now, man, I don't think you necessarily have to burn the red shirt. I mean, if you wanted to, I guess you could do that against Arizona and play him for the rest of the season. But at least against like BYU, man, I'm not throwing Julian Lewis out there. I don't care if he's the best quarterback of all time coming up soon, man. I'm not doing that. It is a disservice with this incapable offensive coordinator we have with Pat Shurmur to say, let's throw a Julian Lewis out there against the number 1 defense in all of college football. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. And you guys, it almost makes me feel like you guys just want throw Julian Lewis out there because he can give us the play that's most similar to Shedeur. Maybe in a year. Maybe in a year, guys. I feel like some of y'all are expecting Shedeur level quarterback play out of all these guys. Out of all these guys. Oh my God. I mean, it's yeah. And we saw that against Delaware, dude, with him holding on to the ball. He's not ready. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Going to sit with this for a little bit. Hey, shout out to Mike. Big game this weekend. Big game this weekend. Out there in Cornland, right? Out there in Cornland. This is a positive. If we're not playing 3 quarterbacks on Sunday or on Saturday, it's a positive because we need continuity. We need the opportunity to develop chemistry. That's why I thought that we would just go with Stop, man. I mean, we started him the last game, just, you know. But honestly, I'm not really upset if it wasn't going to be Stop. There are plenty of reasons for why Ryan Stop should not start, okay? Plenty of reasons. And I'm in support of this decision. What the staff really needs to do is say, we've been watching David Talks Buffs and seeing what everybody has to say in the comments, and they're right. We look like we have absolutely no idea what we're doing right now. And so we actually need to scheme an offensive game plan against Wyoming that isn't generic and that is actually geared to the strengths of our players. So instead of blaming them that they're just not good enough to run these vanilla offenses, they can actually experience success and get this team back on track, guys. I still believe there's a ton of talent on this team. I really do. But we need to stop playing cover 1 man coverage all the time. And we need to stop treating this like we got a Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award winner behind center. It's time to open your eyes and see what we got with this team. There are plenty of athletes to win a lot of games with this football team with. You're not going to do it the way that you've been doing it. Have a wonderful day, guys. I'll be back. Go Buffs.